looked since he was in the MVP conversation a couple years ago. I think that they can stay in enough games with their offense. I think that they can 9 games. What does 9 games get you? You know, like that may allow them to sneak the play, but I'm not taking them serious as a contender though, because that defense and running game are just not going to be good enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions with that defense. And you know what? There's a lot of questions about a team in Detroit.
Bears at Lions.
So we got two teams that start off the season 0-1. The Bears lost their first game. The Lions lost their first game. Of course, the Lions to the Green Bay Packers, who we've seen the season start 2-0. You asked Edwards right away, are they Super Bowl champions, the Green Bay Packers? They've looked good. But the Detroit Lions, man, they looked bad in week 1. And Jared Goff, without Sean McVay, without Ben Johnson, who he's going to be going up against today, the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, Jared Goff looked like a guy last week. And with those weapons, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, a great offensive line, is it really all that much because of the offensive coordinator not being there anymore?
Well, and the interior that offensive line too. Like the offensive line, I think looked a little hapless out there as well, and that kind of impacted Jared Goff. Jared Goff, I'm not going to call him a game manager. I don't think that's what he is, but he is a guy that flourishes when all the pieces are kind of working around him, right? When you have protection, when he has a clean pocket, everybody's seen the numbers. He's so much better quarterback than when he has to make up something or has to scramble or is under pressure. And there was a lot of pressure. That Packers defense with Micah Parsons puts a lot of pressure on you, and that is going to impact him. He has a chance to right the ship against this Bears team, and I think he will. I think that Jared Goff, I think that ceiling is lower when you don't have Ben Johnson, when you don't have some of that stuff around you in terms of protection. But I think that what we saw from the Packers, that's a really good defense.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now they're going up against the Chicago Bears. Lions 6.5-point favorites on ESPN. Ben Johnson making his return to Ford Field. Is that a little disrespectful? The 6.5-point line. Look, the Lions roster, no question, still one of the better rosters in the NFL. I'm not even saying NFC, one of the better rosters in the NFL. But we all had the same questions. What would the offense look like without Ben Johnson? What would the defense look like without Aaron Glenn, who's now the head coach of the New York Jets? But is 6.5 almost disrespectful? I mean, Vegas sets the lines, right? So they're not here to be disrespectful. They're here to make money.
Right.
So the fact that they're 6.5-point favorites, there's still a lot of respect for the Lions, but not much for Chicago, it seems.
I mean, you set that line after you saw like second half Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
There was a tale of two dudes out there playing quarterback. And, first half, I'm watching that game. I'm thinking that the Bears looking good. Caleb looks like some guy who's got a hold of this thing. That Lions defense is still going to be a good defense, and he's going to be under a lot of pressure. He's going to have to make some throws on time against this squad, and I think that's kind of what's setting that line. The fact that the Packers defense was so good, the fact that the Lions have all that talent, and some questions about who's throwing the ball for Chicago.
At what point do we start having more and more conversations about Caleb Williams and whether or not they reach a certain point of fairness or unfairness? I mean, you're the number 1 overall pick, so there's a lot of expectations on you to begin with. There was the Seth Wickersham book that comes out where he never wanted to go to Chicago in the first place. He now has Ben Johnson as his head coach, the offensive guru, the offensive genius that helped the Lions be as great as they were for multiple years. And to your point, first half, you're going, all right, this is real. This is there. Now, I'm not about to say that the second half is what we should get used to seeing. It was one game with a new quarterback, new head coach combination. But at what point do we start having that conversation, especially if it doesn't look good today against Detroit?
I'm not thinking that Caleb Williams is going anywhere this season. I mean, in terms of like not start, I think they're going to, he's going to, there may be some questions if he looks terrible, right? But I think that you got to show some promise. You got to win some of these games. You go against the Lions. You go against the Packers. The Vikings and the Lions. You don't look your best necessarily against them. I think it's okay. I think we're going to look at the holistic season before we start making decisions about him.
So with the Lions, are we still talking about NFC champion contender Lions? There's been a lot of talk about how they missed their chance, right? And unfortunately for them last year, all the injuries that they dealt with. And then what happens to good teams? Good teams lose their coordinators. They lose good coordinators. There are now 2 head coaches in other places in the NFL. Did the Lions window, I'm not going to say shut, because your roster's too good to say their window's shut, but just how big is that window actually open right now?
There's like a little crack in that window because I just think, like, look at what else is in that NFC. The Packers look really good.
Oh, yeah.
And the Packers not only decimated the Lions, they decimated the Commanders, which are two teams at the beginning of the season we talked about as real NFC contenders, right? The Eagles are still the Eagles. The Rams still look pretty good. And I just think that those three teams look like they are cut above the Lions right now.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how this team goes. Look, we know what Dan Campbell can do when it comes to the motivational factor, the whole, his team's always ready to play. But there was something that just looked off in week one last week. You want to give the credit to the Green Bay Packers? Sure, that's fair because the Packers do look that good. The way you're talking about them is absolutely accurate. But if it doesn't look good today against the Chicago Bears, we're going to start wondering whether or not the Lions absolutely missed out on their chances.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started the season already wondering that, right? With what they've lost, this will only be confirmation bias. This is not necessarily a must-win, but this is one that's going to get a lot of red flags and a lot of alarms going off. The Lions cannot do what they need to do against this Bears team, especially after what we saw from Caleb Williams last week.
So when we come back, we will be under an hour away from kickoff. The best game of the day, it might be in Kansas City. We break it down for you next, coming up here on Matt and Myron on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Monday, we'll break down the top storylines coming out of NFL's Week 2 slate of Sunday games and preview the Texans and the Bucks and the Raiders and the Chargers on Monday Night Football. That's Monday on The Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text TIP to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text TIP to 42424. That's TIP to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments. It doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to the Alabama Football Recap Show with Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton. Smoked by Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew and Steve.
Three-man front, trying to bring somebody from the edge, and they do. It's Pierre. He almost got the quarterback, and now wrapping him up down low. LT Overton for the first sack of the game. He'll hand it off to try to get to the edge with Bernard. Diving, did he get to the pylon? Yes. Touchdown, Alabama. Jeremy Bernard, the 2-yard touchdown run. And the Crimson Tide gets on the board first. 2 wideouts left. Play action. Tide looking with time. Downfield has a man. Catches made 20, 15, 10-5. Walking into the end zone. That's Jeremy Bernard. And that is 6 more for the Crimson Tide. 2 wideouts each side. Gets the snap, wants to throw. Looking across the middle. That is picked off. Hubbard again. Gets out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Second interception of the game for Alabama. Lance Mason was the intended receiver. Bray Hubbard with the pick. Riley in the backfield to the right of Simpson, who operates from the pistol. 2 tight end look. He will pick it up. He'll fire. It is caught. Touchdown. What a throw. What a catch. What a half from Alabama. Isaiah Horton on the receiving end of the 13-yard strike. And Bama leads it 20-0. On 3rd and 10. Pressure coming in. He goes down. Back at the 20-yard line. A sack recorded by Yanze Pierre. Double reverse for Bama. In the flip back to the quarterback who slings it to Williams. We got a screen set up. He'll split him. He'll go across the 40. Gets another block. Across midfield. 20, 10. Touchdown Alabama. 75 yards. After the shifting, 2 wideouts each side. Snap goes to Simpson. Fader out right side. Back shoulder caught by Williams. Makes a man miss. Zigs, zags, scores. Touchdown Alabama. 40 yards. Bama has to kick it. It'll be a 33-yard try from the near hash for Talty. Snap and spot are good. The kick has plenty of leg, and the kick is good. And the final 12 seconds are going to tick away, and Alabama is going to move to 2-1. And we do it respectfully, but we will strike up a little rammer jammer as they do not snap the football, and Alabama moves to 2-1 on the year.
Those are the calls from Learfield as we welcome you in this Sunday morning as we are walking you up to some NFL football, but ESPN Radio has not informed me what games they're doing, so I have no idea what we're walking you up to. I know we got Falcon football tonight, but that's all later on. Let's talk some it really, to me, Drew DeArmond, for the first time, I had the thought of Joyless Murder Ball may have made a return in Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning. It was a workmanlike effort from Alabama. There's no question about that. Outstanding job by the Crimson Tide to jump on top of Wisconsin, which is what they needed to do and start fast. I had questions about Wisconsin's explosiveness, and I thought Alabama contained them, did a good job. They did give up a deep ball. Zabian Brown gave up that deep touchdown pass when the game was basically over. There was a lot of subs in on defense. You don't want to do that. He was actually in position. He got beat initially, closed, just didn't turn and find the football where he could have knocked it away. But again, and the only other complaints I could probably have is Ryan Williams needs to turn his hands over and catch the football. He's body catching too much, man. Yep. Turn your hands over and catch it. When he did that, you saw the skirt, and then, 20 more yards into the end zone.
That's exactly where I was going to go. The one issue, if there was drops.
And then Latsier Brooks, this is late in the game before Ty exited.
Yep.
That's a 3rd down and 7 or 8.
That's right.
should have been a big play. I don't know if it had been a touchdown, but it would have kept the drive going.
That's exactly, yes.
And then Wisconsin might not even have got the ball back to score.
That's right.
And then, as Kalen DeBoer said in the postgame, don't get a stupid penalty. And then because otherwise Talty's probably going to kick it out of the back of the end zone, and then you don't give up a 95-yard kickoff return. So should have, in theory, it should have been 49-0. But hey, I'll take 38-14 against a solid program. Wisconsin is not going to go to a playoff or anything, but I think they're a pretty good football team. And I thought Alabama made them look average.
So you think Florida State is better than Wisconsin?
No question.
Okay,
they've got more speed.
I agree with that. I just wanted to get your opinion.
And the quarterback is better, Castellanos.
Yep.
O'Neal. I mean, we'll have our locker room report. If you listen to Bray Hubbard, he'll give you a very succinct description of the first interception. Which, if you were watching the game, I thought O'Neal got confused and thought Bray Hubbard played for Wisconsin because it looked like he threw the ball to him thinking he ran the route. So I don't know really what happened. Bray got a second interception later in the game when really the only other time I thought Wisconsin had a chance to score. And that was in the third quarter, and that was after the kickoff return because Alabama kind of lost some intensity, I think, after Wisconsin went back out there and the Badgers moved the football. But I will say this too: my only other small complaint as well is the running game. Alabama's running game wasn't great. Now they gave it 22 attempts, and I will caution the fans: you got to get used to that with this coaching staff. They are going to throw the football more than they're going to run it most times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I was sharing with people in the press box is the way this staff formations and moves pieces around offensively, and this excites me some, is Homer Smith-like. They do a lot of the things to free people up and get them touches. And then on third downs, this is not Nick Saban we're talking about. It's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. You can almost guarantee he was gonna inside zone and run the football and try to move the chains. Ty Simpson may raise up and throw a screen to the tight end. These guys don't. And then even we heard Jeremy Bernard's opening touchdown on that it was 4th down now.
Yeah, that's right. 4th and 2.
Well, yeah, and it was 4th and 1.
Yeah.
But it was from the 2-yard line. They ran wide with Jeremy Bernard as the ball carrier. So Nick Saban's probably going to bust you in the teeth, and he's going to run that. He's going to run the ball inside or off tackle. He's not going to give it to a wide receiver unless Lane Kiffin was the offensive coordinator, and then an aneurysm would happen. So it's just one of those things. They're different, and you have to get used to it. But it's kind of fun to watch, though, the way they approach offense and get a quarterback in a rhythm. And Ty Simpson was surgeon-like. I thought I was watching Tua there. For a little while. I mean, the way he
definitely looks more comfortable.
I mean, he was 24,
way more comfortable than the Florida State game.
I mean, he was 24-29. He did miss lots here wide open on that opening drive. That was the one.
He did.
But they should have had a pass interference on the 4th down because Germ got grabbed.
Yep.
And then I will say this: he should have been 26-29 because Ryan Williams dropped a touchdown, and Lots here drops that other ball. He should have thrown for 400 yards.
Yeah.
So and
the drops are what concerned me the most.
Yeah.
In watching that game.
If you're going to beat the Dogs, which
hey, we'll get to that.
Yeah, you got to. I'm just saying you can't drop those.
Yeah.
You can't, because that can cost you the game, man. Because that's just against a high quality opponent that's a playoff team. You can't do that.
Bray Hubbard, post-game.
You're a fiery guy. You like the fire, the attitude of this defense, after what you saw today?
Yeah, I love it. But like I was saying earlier to them, we got to keep building, though. I mean, there's still things in the game. Yeah, we won the game and all that, but there's still little small details that people don't see that we see that we have to get cleaned up.
And we were talking to Quay earlier, and he said that Kane and the coaches won't let you forget the first game. Is that kind of the mentality you guys are taking defensively to kind of take it out on the next two opponents?
Yeah, I mean, it's that game, I guess you could say, put our backs against the wall and not starting fast. Coach DeBoer always talks about we got to start fast, start fast, start fast. If you don't start fast, I mean, you're going to put your back on the wall, but we got to keep fighting at the end of the day, and that's what we're doing. Is we're keep fighting, keep swinging. They always say keep swinging, so that's what we're doing, is just keep swinging.
What is this team's mentality to go down the road?
Keep swinging like I just said. I mean, we got to fight. I mean, it's going to be a dog fight, so we got to go over there and play discipline and play sound. Everybody's got to do their 111, and then we just, like I said, bring the physicality like we did today and like we did last week.
And I just got over here. Talk about the 2 picks. What did you see?
Yeah, I was telling them that the first one was, I mean, he kind of just threw it right to me. I mean, I was telling him, honestly, my eyes got real big because I was like, oh my gosh, it's literally right at me. Like, I honestly, I told him, I said, that's the hardest ones when they throw them directly at you. But it's just like, I don't know, it's like slow motion when the ball's coming at you. So then the second one, I was just explaining the concept. They call it star spot concept. I just held my leverage, made the play. He threw it outside where I was, and I snagged. I wish I would have, got some more return yards, but it is what it is. So,
well, and I know there's been you guys have played well for 8 quarters, but how big will it be to potentially get Ja and TK back for Georgia?
Big. I mean, those are two important guys that we've been fighting well, but those guys are 2 important pieces that we got to have. So, I mean, I'm ready for him to get back.
I bet he is. I bet he is.
I mean, they're going to need Keenan inside, even though I got to say it was one of the good things to see was they finished at the quarterback. 4 sacks, pressured throughout. London Simmons, a true freshman who's playing in place of Tim Keenan, got one of them. I mean, I turned to someone and I said, man, a defensive tackle just sacked somebody. What dimension am I in? But I mean, Yonze Pierre, Quay Rusov, 2 Wolves got sacks as well.
Yep.
I mean, they played
4 tackles for losses and 4 sacks.
And LT Overton and people were messaging me a lot about LT came out of the game. From what I understand, I think he's got a stinger. And he should be okay. They've got a bye week. He should be okay for the Dogs. And they're going to need everybody, all hands on deck. Going to need Jam Miller. They're going to need everybody back because the Dogs are just like Nick Saban's teams. They play with the most mental toughness you can see because, as the Vols learned, it ain't over till it's over. And I enjoyed the Gene Simmons tongue deal from Kirby as he was walking on the field. My quote was 9 straight. He was probably remembering your press conference. I mean, your teleconference question too.
9 times.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Steve, I sent this to my good friend Hayden Neighbors, who, by the way, is an employee of Kirby Smarts. Just to let everybody know that.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
I'm sure he does. I'm going to give him a shout out for climbing up the ladder.
Especially the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll really appreciate that.
He enjoyed my Instagram message to him when I said, "Did you realize the Tennessee Volunteers have lost 25 of their last 27 to Alabama and Georgia?"
Wow. No, I didn't do that math in my head until you just said that. But, for those that want to throw dirt on the Southeastern Conference.
What a night that was. I needed one of those man caves with like 4 televisions.
I did.
I mean, dang.
I did in my living room. But what a fantastic ending. You know what? I think I have it. Where is it? Here it is. 4th down. It's 4th. And honestly, the first 3 plays, man, Notre Dame was playing solid defense. They really were. Then 4th down happens.
4th and goal from the 11-yard line. Down 6, 40-34. Concepcion in motion from right to left. The shotgun snap, Marcel. Throws, end zone, caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Forfeiture! We're tied! An extra point to come!
And the extra point would be the difference in the game as Texas A&M downs Notre Dame 41-40. Kudos to the coaching staff there for Texas A&M. I mean, that was an incredible game to watch.
It really was. I mean, and who would have ever thought that 1988 would be 0-2? After everybody said
0-2.
When they win them first 2 ball games and you look at that schedule for Notre Dame, they're going to be 12-0. It might even be the first seed in the will. I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, and I think Marcus Freeman's done a great job there, but sorry, man. Texas A&M won that game. Did a solid for the Southeastern Conference. And as I said, hashtag 3 more years.
Yep.
3 more years.
Yep.
And it'll be 40 since the Irish won a national championship. I don't care that they appeared in the 2 national championship games. They got the hell beat out of them in both of them, made a couple playoffs. So what? They hadn't won squat. And don't forget, Steve, they're too good to be in a conference. So it's not like they can say, well, we're the ACC champs or something. They hadn't been a champion of anything except for mediocrity.
The Southeastern Conference, top to bottom, and I mean top to bottom, best conference. It cannot be argued. It really, and I know we live inside the forest down here. I realize that.
Right.
If the
national media hate us,
if the Southeastern Conference does not earn force, and I know this is September 14th,
right?
If this is not a 4-bid league, I don't know what I'm watching then anymore.
Well,
I have no idea what I'm watching.
I'll give you an example. I mean, I didn't know. I don't know if they put a camera on your boy in the Charlotte studios with Doring and them and Ben Watson.
Yeah, I put that out there, but they needed to.
But the SEC now, they were going over, and they ranked their top 5. And Alabama's not in the top 5, and I wasn't surprised. But that both Ben and Chris, Oklahoma's number 1. And nobody's even talking about Oklahoma. And they're
big week for Oklahoma. They'll welcome in Auburn on Saturday.
And they're playing Auburn at Owen Field, and that's going to be huge. And
Jackson Arnold Bowl.
Both those teams are undefeated. People are mentioning Mateer for the Heisman Trophy right now, and so and Oklahoma's looked good. They've looked good defensively. They've scored points.
Yeah,
you can't argue with it. At least that they're probably one of the top 4 or 5 on paper right now. But and Texas has not looked good. Steve, I'm sorry.
No.
I think Arch is hurt. I don't really. The people have talked about Sark gaslighting the media, but I started noticing it against Ohio State. Every series he was doing this. He kept flexing his shoulder.
See this on WZZM TV.
Yeah, and he kept doing this. And to me, he was trying to loosen his shoulder up. And his accuracy has been so bad, at least when I've watched it. It does not look like what an Arch Manning should look like. I mean, he's not. I don't think he's 100% healthy, man. I just really don't. And their offense right now, and we know how good of an offensive mind Sark is.
Yeah.
But if your quarterback isn't healthy, you can't move the football.
Yeah.
And so Arch has been extremely underwhelming so far, and so is Texas. I mean, I wouldn't have Texas in the top 5 in the SEC. I know they lost a great game to Ohio State, but I mean, they're not playing well at all offensively.
Here is Sark gaslighting the media earlier last week.
Arch Manning seemed to be having some throwing pains by the
according to
quarter.
Who?
Arch
said that to you?
No.
Oh, according to who?
It just looked like he
doesn't have any.
Is there an explanation to why it looked like that?
I don't know. I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom, so I don't know what faces you make when you're doing that.
Middle, Roger.
Sark, you talked about going home and watching.
Do you guys like that? I'm going to ask you when you get to another question coming up. I'll come back to you.
That's Bush League right there. I mean, and I like Sark. But
I do too.
But that's a turd move.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's asking a legitimate question because I'll just say this, Sark, if he is healthy, then what have you done to it? That's what I would ask him, because he doesn't look like the elite prospect I saw in high school. So what have you done to him? Have you napiered him? That's what they're basically saying with Lagway. And I like Billy Napier, but 5 interceptions is ridiculous. Okay.
That was tough to watch last night.
They had a chance to win. Their defense played their butts off. And by the way, Nussmeier, if he's the best quarterback in America, then there ain't many. Because Ty Simpson's looked better than Garrett Nussmeier.
On the subject of gaslighting, did you see what Brian Kelly?
I heard about it. I did not hear it. But I heard he went off last night about his offense as far as someone questioning it.
It was the very first question of the post game. Let me see if I can't cue it up. Hang on 1 second for me, because I mean, keep in mind LSU lost this game last year.
Yes,
was a big win.
Yeah, there was one of the SEC classics, right? With this group, 10 points that has talent. What do you want me to tell you? Finding a way to win the game. Really proud of our group. So with that, questions.
Brian in the back, I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect.
How about giving them a title, Coach? You haven't given them any.
Zero.
None.
This is ridiculous.
How much money are you making, Coach?
Seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Coach Sean Spears.
No, the answer is out of line. That's completely ridiculous. And you're making $10 million a year, you should be questioned if your football team's not playing well in certain areas of the game, okay? Because it did not look good. I watched it.
And even the win over Clemson doesn't look nearly as good.
No, after the Georgia Tech debacle, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, congratulations to Brent Key. And
they earned that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
And don't forget the Troy performance.
Oh,
Wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'll just say this. It's now official on this show, and it'll be official on Talking Ball. Brian Kelly is officially Dirt Neck's other brother, Daryl. He's gaslighting the hell out of people, and he's so defensive because he's not doing his own damn job. Okay? That's ridiculous. If that were the Alabama coach, there's certain people in the media that would be going ape about him, about answering a question like that.
Yeah.
Nick Saban never did that. Okay? Brian Kelly is touchy because he's done not a damn thing at LSU for the money that he's paid. Not one thing. How many SEC championships, Steve?
I'm answering it.
Yep. How many appearances in Atlanta, Steve?
One. No. Wait a second. That was a co-championship of the Western side. No, I know. I know.
That was a Tuberville.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, but how many national championships? We already know the question of that, or playoff berths. None. You want to know why he's so defensive? Because he's feeling the heat. That's why. And he's not going to admit it.
By the way, another sidebar. Did I see this right? That Game Day is going to Miami? Game Day going for that. If Game Day is really going for the Miami-Florida game, is there really no... I guess they don't want to go back to Oklahoma, I guess? Because I think that surprised me a little bit. Maybe I read that wrong, but Auburn, Oklahoma, you got South Carolina, Missouri this weekend as well. But
and then we
Vanderbilt. We need to talk about Vanderbilt. I'm telling you, the doors are for, and all of a sudden that game in Tuscaloosa.
If Alabama were to pull an upset against Georgia, that should be game day. Alabama and Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt will be undefeated in my opinion.
And then watch them lose to Georgia State this week.
And then I'm not.
Listen. I'm just.
Yeah. I'm not. I can't go there with that. I don't see that happening. Not with this group.
I didn't see it last year.
But here's what I did see last night. They play with a ton of physicality.
Oh.
They knocked Lenora Sellers' ass out of the ball game. And then and guess what? Without the Sellers, South Carolina has no running game, no passing game, nothing. And Vanderbilt just physically whipped them. And Pavia didn't play his best game.
No, he didn't. No.
But again, I thought physically they just took it to South Carolina.
That Vanderbilt defense is for real.
It's the best Vandy defense I've seen.
Yeah.
And Chris Lee told us this week on Talking Ball, number one defense in the SEC. People don't really realize that. It really is. And the way they ran the ball in South Carolina. All I'll say is this. This ain't the South Carolina defensive line of last year, Hoss, because I saw them get manhandled. And basically the game was over middle of the third quarter.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with a friend of mine.
It was a one-score game at that point.
Well, but when it went to 21-7, I was like,
Johnny Ball game.
I said all these fans can go get drunk at whatever watering hole is around Williamsburg. Even though I've heard it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's not in the world's greatest neighborhood. So you want to get out of Williams-Brice.
You need to get out of there, but you better go to the bar because it's over. And it's 20, and then it got to 24-7, and then it was just a beat down of epic proportions. I mean, Vanderbilt was the better team. I picked Vandy in that game, and I thought they had a great chance to win. But when and Sellers wasn't even playing great before they had one good drive.
Yeah,
and then after
very
that,
first drive. Yeah,
they got Shulit.
If you'd like to join us this morning, you can do so. There you go. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number. We do have a few more. We do have a few more from the locker room report that I will play here momentarily. But let's see here: Quay Russaw, Deontay Lawson as well, and Ty Simpson. We'll hear from the Bama quarterback after we head out to the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline at 256-576-4977. Good morning. Who's this?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, good morning,
What up,
Brandon.
It was a great day in America last night.
Well, I know this. I know if we do end up playing Vanderbilt and they're undefeated, they need to have Theo Vaughn as the guest picker because he's probably going to show up with Diego Pavi's mom.
Hey, that's solid right there. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
think about it,
more
Brent.
inaccurate last.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, can you imagine if Alabama beats Georgia? What a tough ticket Alabama Vandy would be. That's
How about
not usually
that? How
what
about
you
that
say.
sentence right there?
Wow.
Yeah.
They were giving away tickets last week. People were literally giving them away.
Yeah.
That would be probably the biggest ticket swing in season history in a long time.
Mm.
Yep.
I saw people, they're like, I got 5 tickets. You can have them for free on these Facebook pages I'm on, and people were taking them.
Yeah.
So, but who had a worse accuracy last night? Eli Holstein or Tennessee's kicker?
Oh, my goodness. Rich Rod got it done in the backyard brawl in overtime.
Sure did. Yeah. I kept waiting for that game to flip over to Ole Miss and Arkansas, and that game just would not end.
Man, with Sam Pittman, you got to feel for him. It looked like they had a chance to steal that game.
Yeah.
And then Wild Turkey, his defense finally made a stop.
And I'll say this. I think there were more people at Spring Garden Hazel Green than there was at the UCLA game.
Wow. It was bad. I saw a picture. They called it 15,000. Steve, as you know, they got blown out by New Mexico 35-10.
Yeah, that was a Friday game, wasn't it?
Friday. I listened to their locked on reaction on the way.
I reached out to the play-by-play voice of the Lobos. That would be one Robert Portnoy.
Oh, yeah.
Former voice of the Huntsville Stars.
That's right.
And so, he was quite happy to leave Pasadena with a dub.
So at this point, what do you do with your football program when you've got
UCLA?
People they think shift? Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you do?
I get rid of both the Iamali dummies, and then I go hire the best head coach I can, and I start all over. I don't really care. My team is so bad, it doesn't matter. Like I'm just because they traded quarterbacks, and Aguilar's better than Iamaliava.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, here's what Iamaliava is, and this is the truth. It's not trying to be insulting. He's a volleyball
Moron
player.
of the year.
He was an elite volleyball player. He should have played volleyball in college. He's not a quarterback. He's not, at least not an elite one, like his dad thought. His dad thought he was Caleb Williams, going to be the first pick in the draft. He at this rate, he won't even get drafted. So
he's my top runner for moron of the year right now.
I mean, and I'm sure his son can't play either. So
maybe the weather's better out there in Los Angeles. I don't know.
Maybe not schedule North Texas and take a page out of Washington State's book.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
That was a beating.
Mm-hmm.
You got thrashed by them. And then Texas Tech thrashes Oregon State.
Yeah.
No, what was it like leaving out of there last night?
I did not go.
I was telling everybody you were there, man.
So I never got my parking credential, and I was not feeling 100% on. Just honestly, Friday I did 3 shows.
Oh, you did.
And I just I was feeling it big time yesterday. So no, I did not go.
He had a long Friday. I will attest to that. But dang it, I thought you were there.
I never did get my parking credential. Was going back and forth with Tennessee on Friday, and had they emailed it to me, I would have been there. I would have just I didn't know where to park. So
I mean, why wouldn't they give you a parking credential? That's just nuts.
Well, they did, but I had an issue with Yahoo is doing some certain stuff to their email now. So I just decided to flush Yahoo and just be done with them. But anyway.
I hate that you weren't there to see all the surrender Cobras.
I wanted to be there. I really wanted to be there.
Did we enjoy some Jamal Jarrett running his 380-pound butt completely out of gas into the end zone?
Well, I'll just say this. I mean, when I was watching the end, because I was watching the end of the Tennessee Georgia game on television on my phone. But I was driving, but I was being careful. I slowed down. I wanted to see the end of the game. And when Frazier went around the end, I thought he was just going to run into the end zone so I could start screaming. And then they knocked him out.
There was a part of me that I was glad I wasn't there because I was yelling at Mike Bobo.
Yeah.
I was yelling at Mike Bobo yesterday.
Yeah. And then when they ran the football on second down, I thought he scored, but I wasn't sure. And then I saw the replay, and then I was like, this is great. This is great. Just throw your hands up.
Well, then here you go. I know you'll enjoy this probably as much as I did.
Out of the shotgun. Hand it to McCray. There he goes. He drives in. They grab him from behind. Did he get the ball over? Close to the goal line. No signal yet.
After further review, it is a touchdown.
Oh, yeah! Rocky Top crumbles. Dogs are winners. 44-41 in overtime. How's that for a finish?
Yeah. And
good stuff.
It was just so ironic too. They're up 38-30, and then they pull the Atlanta Falcons. They give up a 4th down, unbelievable catch.
That was a hell of a throw. It really was.
And then of course, Twitter being the way it is, man, my phone goes off and I'm on a delay, and they're like, "What a dime!" I'm like, "Oh man, something great's about to happen!" and then Humphreys caught the ball, and then the 2-point
conversion. What happened on that defensively for Tennessee?
The Atlanta Falcons, I guess.
It was wide open.
I mean, Zachariah Branch, he's a pretty good player. He was wide open, and then after that, watching Tennessee's sphincter
Tennessee was a better team than Georgia yesterday.
They should have won.
Yeah,
I mean, they had leads all game, and then
they were a better team than Georgia yesterday.
A great last drive, and then they somehow choke and get how when you're trying to center the ball do you freaking get a false start penalty? That is about stupid. And then I'll just be honest. As soon as he kicked it, I was like, "Oh my Lord, he pushed it right." This is like Florida State all over again. And I was like, "They're going to lose this game in overtime, and it's going to be glorious."
When Georgia won the toss, that's when I had it in my head of, "Oh my gosh, this might happen."
Yeah,
this really might happen.
Exactly.
Is there an ESPN Deportes call of that final call of the Georgia game?
I wish.
Well, I don't have Mike Keith's call of the final.
I didn't listen to Tone. I got to go back and listen today.
Well, he mentioned I did, and he mentioned about them letting their foot off the gas. The very first drive of the second quarter, there was a couple of drops, honestly, but I mean, I don't know if I completely buy into that in particular, that they let their foot off the gas. But yeah, those first three drives, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown for Tennessee. I just Georgia was able to hang on, find a way, just find a way.
Yeah, they did. They found a way, and but I will say I agree with Steve though. I showed yesterday was just a master class on how good the SEC is compared to the rest of the leagues. I don't care what any talking head idiot says that some national Joel Klatt schmuck. I don't care. The SEC is the best league in the country, and it's not even close. And if you try to act like it is, you're a complete utter moron. Okay, just a moron. I mean,
if this is not a 4-bid conference, then I don't know what a 4-bid conference is.
I want to say Joel Klatt and some of these clowns were telling us that Clemson was the best team in America in the preseason, and they've already got 2 losses, one of them to an SEC team. So there you go. Whose head coach is gaslighting everybody, acting like his team's playing. But that also, I'll give Brian Kelly credit for this though. If they can get Nussmeier going in this running game, their defense is good. They've got a chance to make a playoff run or a national championship run. Definitely.
I've even got Jerry Glanville texted me this morning, Tennessee and Notre Dame cannot be excused.
Well, and they probably still have a chance, but I'm hoping both of them keep losing.
Well, Notre Dame's now 0-2.
Yeah. 1988.
Well, I was hoping Steve was there when I came home yesterday.
I really wanted to be there. I did, but I will tell you, I was hurting pretty good Friday night.
Well,
I really was.
That was a long day. I've been through those, man. And heck, it was a long day for me. I didn't get in bed till midnight, and then I had to get up at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And then those 11 a.m. kickoffs are kind of brutal. I sat down in my press box seat as they were going out for the coin toss.
Had as soon as I woke up, I looked at my email Saturday morning. Had my parking pass been there, I would have been on the road.
Right.
So
I get it.
Well, I come in Saturday morning, and my son and his friends are here, and Landon Bowe's buddy looked at me. He's like, "Mr. Pilcher, I love you." He's like, "You buy the biggest steaks that anybody can find anywhere." He's like, "I was so excited to be here today," and I said, "Yep," and I got this one for Moulton. I said, "I'm gonna eat this one when Moulton cooks Tennessee's bird for him." So, roll tide, gentlemen, and have a great day.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
256-576-4977, the telephone number. It is the Bama Recap Show, smoked by Dreamland BBQ. Ain't nothing like them nowhere. In fact, right now you can head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, click on the Big Zone deals, and enjoy some Dreamland BBQ on an NFL Sunday today. For $25, you can get 50. For 50, you can get 100, so on and so forth. It is just that simple. Ain't nothing like them nowhere. We'll be right back with more of the Bama Recap Show.
Log on today, 90
He's gone.
Back here on a Sunday morning, live 256-576-4977. Let's hear from Ty Simpson.
What do you think of the game today, Ty? Yeah, it was a great team win. I thought we played complimentary football. Didn't start off great. Put the defense at a bad spot in that fourth down. Didn't get it, but just really, really proud of those guys. The guys, they got the ball back the next play. Brady did a good job, I thought we executed on a lot of levels today. So just really, really proud of the guys.
These last 2 weeks, you had a good couple of weeks.
You can say that. I just thought the team played really well the last 2 weeks. I think, our first week, we kind of, had to self-reflect and we were like, hey, what are we going to do now? I thought that we've been really, really intentional these last couple weeks in practice. And now, we just got to keep it going, right? We got a tough couple games. We have a stretch coming up. And we got to be more intentional than we ever have been.
Where do you feel like the game is slowing down for you?
I just thought that, the guys made really good plays today, honestly. I thought the line blocked well. I can't take a sack there, backed up. I thought the guys ran hard, the running backs, tight ends, did both. And then wideouts, they made great catches and, ran really, really fast. So, I just did my job and just, like I said, great complimentary football.
What did it feel like Brian Williams getting going after?
Yeah, it was good to see him get going, man. That dude practices really, really hard, and he's one of my best friends.
Practice catching?
To see him, all his hard work get put on the field and have a day like today, looking at 5 catches, 165 yards, that's what we expect him to do. He's one of the best players in college football, so see him get a game like this and momentum carrying it to the next couple games is what I'd like to see.
Do you feel like that's something he kind of had to remind people that people view him as one of the best players in college football? Or?
Yeah, I think too, right? After that first game, he got concussed, right? He had to tell himself hey, I'm a really, really good football player. It don't happen to everybody. So just giving him touches and seeing him work and stuff is what he needs. And so he's worked really, really hard in practice, and the guys challenge him on how to be a leader and a better wideout. And so I'm just really, really proud of how far he's come.
You hear a lot of quarterbacks that say, "Take what the defense is willing to give you." Is that a meaning with this offense?
Yeah, absolutely. We Coach Grove emphasizes all the time, right? We want the defense to cover every part of the field, right? Well, it's kind of hard to because, this is a hard thing to do, you know what I mean? So being able to, be able to get under center and, run the ball and then be able to do play action and stuff, keep everybody guessing on their toes is, what we'd like to do, and so being able to just take what the defense gives us and, get out of negative plays is the biggest thing about quarterbacking. And so that's what I think, I'm trying to do the best I can of.
Ty, tell us about the play coming out of the third quarter. It's a pretty neat play design. Was it blocked up perfect? Because, they executed pretty well with Ryan getting down the sideline.
Yeah, absolutely. I told the guys in the huddle, right, hey, we're going to run this play. And I looked at the left side of the line. I was like, hey, Caden Proctor, Gino, Parker, let's go. It's all up on you guys, right? And so, Ryan did a good job of selling it. Jerem did a good job of pitching it. And then, of course, Ryan made the play. I just threw it to him. But it really, really started up front, right, with those guys clearing it out in the alley or whatever. So, Ryan ran really, really fast. But, those guys up front really, really made it go.
And then how potentially big will it be to get Jam back for Georgia?
It's going to be huge. That guy's a really, really big part of our team. He works really hard. He's a leader. He's very vocal. And I know he's itching at the bit to get back.
Ty, what do you think about Coach Grove's usage of the screen game? Obviously, that play you just referenced, but lots of screens today.
I just think, we get the ball to our really, really good players in space, and we just let them go work. I think that's an underused part of, football, and I think that, we have really, really good guys, and being able to get them the ball is really important.
Ty, it seems like a lot of time.
That is Ty Simpson post-game down there in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and I thought he played at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I know he was criticized a little bit in game one. I still think he played better than given credit for. And I also got to give credit to Florida State for how they played. But I think Ty, for a guy that came in this season with basically no experience except for in mop-up duty, I think he's doing a great job getting better every week. And I love the way the coaching staff is spreading the ball around. Again, the running game needs to be better, but they are going to get Jam back. And I will say too, and I thought that was a great way to segue to this conversation. That is what you just heard him talk about, the screen game. The screen game is like an extension of the running game, and that's what this coaching staff does. So I'll just caution everybody, and you did mention Joyless Murder Ball at the start of the show.
Yeah.
But they're going to approach things differently. They want to be physical, okay?
Yeah.
But it's going to be more perimeter stuff. There's going to be a lot more screens, and they're not going to, Nick Saban most times. Now, when he had Bryce, when he had Tua, he would throw the football, no doubt about it. But still at the core, he wanted to be a physical running team, and he wanted balance on offense. There will be balance with this staff, but in most cases, you're just going to have to be ready for it. They are going to throw the football more than they're going to run it. But just understand, a lot of those throws are going to be screen game stuff where they're going to have to block on the perimeter. You're going to have to get the tight ends loose. You're going to have to get the running backs loose. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Kirby, with 2 weeks to prepare, and his staff kind of scheme that up. Because Alabama, I'm going to quote the late, great Pat Dye, is Alabama man enough to play Georgia?
Well, Ty Simpson threw for a career-high 382 yards yesterday, most by an Alabama quarterback since Bryce Young's 455 yards in Week 7 at Tennessee back in 22, although I know that didn't turn out how Bama fans wanted.
That was highway robbery. That is the one game I'll say was absolutely almost fixed.
Yeah, I was in Knoxville for that one.
That was a joke. There's no way Tennessee should have won that football game.
That call long. Anyway, he also tossed 4 touchdowns, 2 of them to Ryan Williams, the sophomore wideout, the second Alabama player to record 10 receiving touchdowns in his first 15 games at Alabama since 1990, joining Amari Cooper. Simpson went 9 of 11, 208 yards, 3 touchdowns, throws 10 or more air yards down the field, with both of the incompletions coming off dropped passes by wide receivers, Brooks and Williams. We've already chronicled right there. And I think, to me, the drops were the biggest issue moving forward heading into this bye week. But
you're right. I mean, and they have to do a better job of getting a hat on a hat in the running game, getting more movement. But yes, no question about it. You've got to catch the football, because this is a team almost that likes to pass to set up the run. And you got to be able to catch the football, man. And you can't leave plays on the field with the competition. You have to play going forward. Vanderbilt included. Vanderbilt looks like a heck of a football team right now. You've got to possess the football against them, keep it away from them, because they're really physical, and they will control the clock with the way they run the football. So I'm just saying, man, and I'll give Diego Pavia a lot of credit. So far, he's called his shot.
Well, there was 2 quarterbacks that chirped at Alabama in the preseason.
One already backed it up, Castellanos.
Yeah, and the other one looms down further. But this is quite the turnaround that Clark Lee has had.
You think Vanderbilt's finally going to get ranked?
Depending on the AP voter, yes. I mean,
it's not that big a deal, I mean, come on. I mean, is it really a big deal? I was covering New Mexico and UCLA. It was quite a contest.
Yeah, quite a contest.
USC beat Purdue by 16. Your football sucks out there, everybody.
I did flip over to CBS during that long rain delay, and they were talking Georgia, Tennessee, but I saw this longing look. Maybe I'm reading too much into it from Coach Neuheisel, and I felt like texting Coach saying, "Y'all miss the SEC?" I did. While you guys get ready for Purdue and USC. Missouri had another beat down yesterday as they pounded Louisiana 52-10, and boy, Drink can find themselves a running back out of the portal. This is not a D2 guy, but I'm telling you, Hardy ran the ball 22 times for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, He was at Louisiana Monroe last year, but 22 carries for 250. That's hard to do against air, much less a team like Louisiana.
And Steve, our listeners have given us some breaking news from Brett McMurphy of On3 Sports.
Okay.
We just talked about that AP poll. He on his AP ballot, top 5: Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, Miami, Oregon. New on his ballot, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the biggest thing: sources. Notre Dame promises to join Big Ten or SEC immediately if either league can convince college football playoff to expand to 16 teams.
Well, that's going to happen. So,
I mean, what have I been saying for years, Steve? They've got to join a conference.
Yep.
And I still think it'll be the Big Ten because I think it's got the most geographic
It makes the
fit.
most sense.
You know,
but
I do know that Sankey would take Notre Dame because of the name. I think he would take them, and
I don't know.
And the SEC doesn't have anyone in Indiana.
No,
But I personally wouldn't.
He has talked so much about geographical footprint. I don't think he would do that to himself.
I would,
even if it's the likes of Ohio State or Notre Dame.
And then if the Big Ten, I think that the Big Ten should take them. And the Big Ten would walk naked to take them. But, I mean, do you just take one or do you take 2 more schools?
So I'm taking a look at Brett McMurphy's AP Top 25.
Yeah.
Have you seen his AP Top 25?
I haven't seen the whole poll.
He has Alabama 25, Auburn 23.
Interesting.
He does have Vanderbilt ranked 16th, right behind Tennessee at number 15. 2-loss Notre Dame's number 14. Ole Miss is 13. Texas is at number 10. I watched a good bit of that against UTEP, and it's pretty clear to me who the best team in the state of Texas is. That would be the Aggies of Texas A&M.
And probably this is a joke from he's probably got tongue in cheek here because we know they're not going to expand to 16 teams this season.
No,
it's a tongue in cheek thing.
Next year.
But they probably want to join one because right now they'd be out of a 12-team playoff very likely.
And so right now I know it's done, but this whole 9-conference deal that the SEC was bullied into by the Big Ten, I just right now sitting here mid-September, all it is going to create more losses for more SEC teams next year, and probably more of an argument of why are they in? Listen, as a fan, as someone who covers it, I love it. That 2020 year, loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Didn't love the fact that we were all going through, but loved the fact that we got nothing but good quality football week in and week out.
Well, and like I say, if the Big Ten does add Notre Dame and Sankey isn't interested, it'll be interesting going forward what he decides to do. Because right now, I don't think he'd be interested in Virginia Tech. Good Lord.
Old Dominion. Old Dominion.
It was 28-0 last I checked last night. I don't know what the final ended up being. I'm sure it was brutal. Hang on. Let me pull up that score just because I cannot remember to save my life right now. But I remember flipping and going, wow, this is really happening. 45-26 was the final score for Old Dominion over Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yikes.
No doubt. But I'll just
and the classic ACC rivalry that is Boston College and Stanford. Stanford a winner there 30-20.
That is brutal. Brutal for BOB, man. Losing to Stanford.
Frank Reich, I think, is still the interim.
He's the interim this season. But I guess Dylan Lonergan didn't play well against Stanford. Wow. I mean, you never know.
Well, let me see the stats on this one because you mentioned Holstein.
Yeah.
Lonergan was 30 of 44 for 333 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
Yeah.
So, Not awful numbers.
No, but I will say I think Alabama's satisfied with Ty Simpson thus far.
You think?
Need to keep him healthy. By the way, he was also the Tide's leading rusher yesterday,
that's right.
That's probably a little bit of an issue. But
were you surprised?
Again,
I was surprised I didn't see more of Austin Mack.
I thought we might see him the entire fourth quarter, but they decided to leave Ty in there.
I thought we may have seen him in the first half.
I did not. I didn't expect that against an opponent like Wisconsin. I thought if Alabama were taking control, you'd see Austin Mack in the fourth quarter, maybe even a series from Keelan Russell, but you didn't see Keelan at all. But I'll give Ty Simpson an A. He should be in the heavy discussion for SEC Player of the Week offensively. There was other great performances, certainly, but just I think he should be in the mix there. Great job. We haven't mentioned Auburn much, but a workmanlike win against South Alabama. But there's
South Alabama stepped on their own foot a lot, but Auburn did take care of business.
But Auburn's given up. I think they've had some issues third down defensively. They've also, I think they're concerned about their pass defense going into this matchup with Oklahoma at Owen Field next week. Alabama just needs to get healthy, because they're going to need all hands on deck playing the Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we're going to preview that game next week. Is that what we're going to do on the Bama Recap Show?
Yep.
So we'll take a deep dive into that.
What do you think the point spread is ultimately going to be between Alabama and Georgia?
I would say Dogs by 5.
Wow, really? I would say I see it more of from what I have seen off of these teams.
Right.
I think I'd go like -2 for Georgia, -2.
Mm.
But I just that was not it. Kirby said as much of how ugly of a win that was, right to Holly Rowe there on the field.
Well, I mean, they showed a lot of toughness. They reminded me of a Nick Saban football team, and so Alabama's going to have to match Georgia's physicality. They've got to find a way to slow the running game down. I thought they did a good job against the run against the Badgers, but Georgia's going to come right at them. And then I thought Gunnar Stockton. He showed. I wasn't sold on him.
I am now.
But I thought he did a great job. I thought he threw the ball down the field. He certainly has mobility. He's not as twitchy as Ty Simpson, but he's certainly tough.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like a Diego Pavia as a runner. And so he brings that dimension to Georgia. Alabama's just going to have to keep working. Jam Miller's return is crucial. Tim Keenan's is, John Marion Latham. They need to get everybody back. And I'll just say this to close.
Mm-hmm.
I think going forward, we need to see more of Jaden Roberts and Michael Carroll on the right side of the offensive line, because I think it helps Alabama in both pass protection and in the running game. But overall, I give Alabama an A-, beating Wisconsin the way they did 38-14.
The Wisconsin defense had 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses in the game yesterday, but it was an emphatic Alabama win yesterday morning down in Tuscaloosa. We will be back here next Sunday. It is a bye week, but it's a big week. Alabama, Georgia. Well, we can finally officially turn the page. Enjoy your bye week. We've got Auburn, Oklahoma. That is something to keep an eye on this week in particular. For Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton signing off, a big thank you to Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere.
WZZN Union Grove, Huntsville, the Tennessee Valley's home of ESPN Radio, is 97.7 The Zone.
Now let's send it out to Pittsburgh for the Seahawks and Steelers. And the men on the call, ESPN Radio, Sal Palantonio and Steve Lee.